Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have what will be the best EZA currently on global, which is the transforming SSJ2 Gohan, a transformation you can actually see now because you can actually run good androids category units who are also very good on the same teams of him, such as Gamma 1 and 2. He is rainbowed, he is level 10 links, just finished link leveling him yesterday. Both him and Cell both had a link level that was at level 9, and I was like, I might as well just wait to actually do a video on them when they get to level 10. Gohan decided to finally give in and give me the final link yesterday at level 10 last night, so we can do this now. Cell, on the other hand, won't give me that last link level that I'm looking for. He has been incredibly stubborn, so hopefully I can get that done soon. We have the ideal rotation with Gohan already set up, which is linking him with Birdku. He literally shares 7 out of 7 links with Birdku. They both stack defense, they both have guard. It's an amazing rotation for an already amazing unit. And we are starting with a 582k attack stat that is a little bit inflated because of course Gamma 2 does provide some type of support, and we do start with 177k defense, which, considering he has guard and of course stacks on both 12 and 18 key, that's not bad. So considering he has type disadvantage in this first phase, I'm gonna put him in slot 1. We can't 18 key with him though, but that's fine. But I do want to see how much he's taking turn 1 with just under 200k defense, but with guaranteed guard. We're being super attacked straight away as well, so we're really going to see what Gohan's made of turn 1. This is what a lot of people keep talking about with him. What can he tank turn 1? 141k is actually pretty good. 5 million attack stat as well, considering he needs to build up his passive. That on a 12 key isn't too bad turn 1 either. Big crit. Of course, we are facing an android category, so we do have a 50% chance to crit on top of the fact he is rainbowed. So crits will be common here against Cell. 2 crits, 2 stacks. That was actually a decent first showing. To me anyway, that's a good first showing. Considering 177k defense, guard, type disadvantage, turn 1, no stack, literally next to no build up in his passive. Just over 100k on a super, that's pretty good. Again, that's turn 1 in red zone as well. That's impressive. That is impressive. And 2 big 3 million crits. This is literally, this is just the beginning. This is why he's currently the best EZA on global. But after EZAing, let's quickly run through his details. Of course, he's now a 180 lead for Kamehameha. It's still a strong category, so that's a very nice lead. And of course, he supplies super AGL types with key +3, HP and attack and defense plus 130%. As I already said, he does stack both on 12 and 18 key supers. And of course, considering he does have a built-in additional, which you have a 50% chance to trigger, as long as your HP is at 58% or above at the start of turn, you of course can, where was I going with this? Of course, you can stack him up a lot quicker, especially as I already said, because I didn't mean to actually switch these, but it's fine. We need to lose some HP anyway to eventually trigger Gohan's active skill to then transform him. But of course, the built-in additional, or at least the 50% chance to launch an additional, does help him stack up a lot quicker again, because he does stack on both 12 and 18 key, which I do like a lot. And he does start with attack and defense plus 150%. He then gets key +2 plus an additional attack and defense plus 20% at the start of each turn, which then builds up to key +8, attack and defense plus 80%. So that will take 4 turns to build up, which isn't too bad at all to really get him going, especially because that's pre-transformation. So we are going to have to wait 4 turns to see what Gohan can fully do before we do transform him into SSJ2, which, I'm not gonna lie, his pre-transformation kit is so good that I think even in some events, especially like a longer red zone event like Broly, you could probably leave Gohan untransformed for the entire event, letting him stack up the entire way and get his defense into a ridiculous spot like 500-600k plus, and he'll be guarding the entire time as well while doing some pretty decent damage. Obviously, it's not going to be on the levels of when you transform him into SSJ2. However, he'll be doing decent damage. If you have dupes, of course, there's the potential to launch an additional. On top of the additional that's already built in, that's potential of 3 super attacks in 1 turn, with also the potential of crits in the dupe system, which means he's stacking his defense even quicker. And as I said, he's going to be guarding the entire time as well, which means Gohan's kind of untouchable, especially if you're facing an android category enemy. But for the most part, in any event, just because he can super attack 2, potentially 3 times, Gohan, as I said, with the guard, is pretty much untouchable. The only thing you lose out on is a bit of damage, which is to kind of be expected. But this pre-transformation kit is so good that for the majority, yes, you can transform him now, and you're gonna want to, especially because the amount of attack he can put out now is ridiculous. But you don't even need to transform him, which is the insane thing. But where are we up to now? So a 563k attack stat with no support, 300k defense off of 2 supers is really good. And especially because, again, we have God while he's in Super Saiyan. So already Gohan is at a stage, at a level, and of course that's off of 2 build-ups. That's with two turns of pass with the extra ki +2 and attack and defense +20%. So he's now on ki +4, attack and defense +40%. And he's already doing a 7 million attacks. Again, this is pre-transformed. This is without his passive fully built up yet. This is what I mean. You can leave Gohan untransformed and not have to worry. Yeah, you lose out on the ridiculous attack stat he can get to in Super Saiyan 2. We've just super attacked 3 times. That's 3 stacks. But yeah, you miss out on quite a bit of damage when he goes into SSJ2. But as I said, he's just untouchable because of the stacking, because of the guard, and because of the ideal rotation you can set up with 7 out of 7 links with Birdku, who also stacks and has guard. This guy's just winning. And not to mention, he also goes on the Year 7 LR Gods lead as well. Oh, he actually died and triggered the revival. He also goes on the Year 7 Gods team, and their team just stays winning. They're Power Beyond the Super Saiyan category, which is the majority of characters and units in the game, and their movie heroes lead. They just stay winning. They constantly receive boosts. They're constantly getting the new and best units and EZAs all on their category. It's honestly ridiculous how often their lead constantly gets buffed. Like, it is insane. And of course, the finish off Gohan's kit, he also has a 50% chance of performing a critical hit when there's an android category enemy, which I'm not gonna lie is a little bit specific. Obviously, he will absolutely thrive in what we're in now, which is of course the Red Ribbon Army event Red Zone stage, just because they're all Red Zone category enemies. And I mean, if you're doing content on him, obviously, as I said, he's gonna thrive. He's going to pop off in this Red Zone event. However, if you've already done it, outside of this and any ESBR stages that contain androids category enemies, there's not really too many android category enemies you're typically going to be facing that often, apart from if Dokkan decide to launch any future stages or events that do contain android category enemies, as I said, outside of this Red Zone event and also ESBR. So that is to take note, but that, you know, it would be nice to have the 50% chance to crit a lot more consistently and a lot more often. But it's understandable, of course, why he has it. But as I said, outside of this event, and also, as I said, any ESBR stage, which is just primarily androids category enemies, you're not going to be triggering that too often, just because there's not really any events outside of this that are just android category enemies. But we have, I think, what, one more turn, potentially, where we need to get the extra ki +2 and attack and defense +20%. And Gohan's on a 601k attack stat, 508k defense off of, what, 5 supers and 3 turn build-ups in his passive. And again, he still has guard. I am going to pop a Whis just because of, I don't want the gods to die. But this is with one more turn to left to build up. I could be wrong, but I think that's one more turn we have left to build up. But he has 500k defense and guard. With the Whis, even without the Whis active right now, Gohan would probably take no damage. But 500k defense with guard, a 7.6 million attack stat, and we haven't even transformed him yet. And as I said at the beginning of the video, it's so much easier to trigger his Super Saiyan 2 transformation now. Yes, the activation conditions are still cheeks. Like, Dokkan doesn't change active skill conditions. They just don't. I don't know if it's something they don't currently do now, or something they may like look at and alter in the future, or maybe it's just too difficult to change. I don't know. I don't know how game coding works, so I'm not really going to talk on it. But they're still the same. Of course, you need your HP at 58% or less with an Android 16 on the team, or you need your HP at 58% or less with an existing Androids category ally or enemy starting from the 5th turn. So from the 5th turn, from the 4th turn would be a bit more ideal, but you do want to finish building up Gohan before you transform him. So the 5th turn is actually not that bad, especially when you consider how good, again, his pre-transformation kit actually is. So the 5th turn for his transformation conditions are still fine to me. That's no problem whatsoever. In terms of how you transform him now, this is what I like so much. This is how times have changed. As I said, his transformation conditions are still cheap, like they haven't been touched. But however, because of the categories you can run Gohan on, especially what we're running him on now, which is the, as I said, the Year 7 LR God's 200% lead of Power Beyond the Super Saiyan and Kamehameha, or movie heroes, you can run two of the best android units on the team that run with other super type units, which are the Gammas, on the same team as them. Not only are they not going to hold the team back because they're two of the better units in the game, but you can also run them with some of the other better units in the game, and also this Gohan, and not have to hinder your team or bring a unit that just, as I said, hinders the rest of your team or doesn't link very well or isn't very good, which I love. As I said, his transformation conditions are still cheeks. They are still whack, but they're a lot easier to trigger now just because you have such good units on the team that can go with him. And they're also two of the better units in the game, especially Gamma 1 of how good he is defensively, and Gamma 2 of course pops off with the amount of damage and super attacks he can do. So while they are still very bad, his transformation is now a lot easier to trigger. And we're still not going to trigger it because we haven't actually lost enough health. But that is insane. We're up to a 640k attack stat, we're on 736k defense. When you take him in against Broly, like Cell, because he is a longer red zone fight, Gohan is going to have 600 to 700k defense with guard the entire time. And that's probably before you even get to the final phase, which is insane. Which is why I keep saying, like, Gohan is literally untouchable. However, we do need to lose some HP, so actually, I don't think it really matters if Birdku goes to slot 1 because he also has his guard, but we need to lose some HP. Because we need to trigger his active skill. But this is the final turn of Gohan's build up. Him building up his passive to that full key +8, attack and defense +80%. And what is he putting out as his final number pre-transformation? 7.79, so just shy of 7.8. And that's at Rainbow level 10 links. Damn. As I said, his kit pre-transformation is so good now. Like, it's so good. I'm going to put Gamma 2 in slot 1. It probably won't make much of a difference, but hopefully we can lose a little bit of HP with him there. But his pre-transformation kit is so good. And I really do believe that the reason why they gave him guard pre-transformation, especially because he stacks defense on both 12 and 18 key, I really do believe the Dokkan devs gave him guard, like guaranteed guard, as like kind of like an apology letter for how bad his transformation conditions have always been. Just to kind of make up for the fact that we haven't seen the SSJ2 transformation in years. I really do feel like the guard is just Dokkan's way of saying sorry to us. I really do. It makes him sick pre-transformation. Like, it makes both Super Saiyan and the Super Saiyan 2 like incredibly good. But I really do believe that's Dokkan's apology letter. But we're on 800k defense. He's fully brought up now. We just need to lose some health. So I'm going to come back when we can do that.
You've done.
So we finally got the transformation we haven't seen in years. It's good to finally be able to get him to transform into Super Saiyan 2. I did actually have to come back in the event, so our stats aren't going to be the exact same as they was before. But after stacking for a little bit, we got a 429k attack stat pre-super. We have 525k defense. Now, of course, you could leave yours, you know, untransformed for as long as possible, then finally transform him. He could easily have like 700k plus defense at this point, and you know, as I said, he'll have higher stats. We're probably not going to see too much of him just because Cell is almost dead, but it's fine. We have enough to show what I want to show with them. But in terms of what he does now, I'm going to quickly read this before we end up ending the event. So of course, now he stops stacking and he loses his guard, which is why I said you probably want to build him up for as long as possible, then finally transform him when it's kind of safe to do so, or when you're just kind of ready for the kill shot. Now on 12 key, he greatly raised attacking defense by 50%. On 18 key, he also greatly raised attacking defense by 50%. So wherever your defense is sitting, 500, 600, 700 plus K, you're then going to raise it by 50%. He then changes tech key spheres to AGL key spheres, which he's already done here. As you see, there's a few on the field for us, to tech key spheres to AGL key spheres for 4 turns. Attack and defense plus 158% now, and then gets an additional attack and defense plus 20% and defense plus 10% per key sphere obtained, which is kind of insane. So Goku shouldn't do that much damage. Actually, yeah, no, Goku shouldn't do enough damage. Cell is stunned. We're going to be getting 10 key spheres, which is an extra 200% attack and 100% defense just from picking up key spheres alone. So Gohan should be doing some ridiculous amounts of damage right now. He also then gets an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained, which launching your 18 key is going to be very easy to do and very consistent, especially when he's linked up with Bird Coup and linked so perfectly well. And with the orb changing he has for 4 turns. 21 million attack stat. Excuse me? A 21 million attack stat. A 14 million crit. That is without him even launching an additional super attack. A 21 million attack stat. I forgot there's actually one more phase. But a 21 million attack stat. What am I seeing? That's insane. But he also randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, AGL and Tech excluded, to rainbow key spheres when facing one enemy, which is easy considering all majority, like 95% of the harder content in Dokkan is literally facing one enemy. So you're primarily, when you're taking him into harder content, you will trigger that. And of course, that's going to help him pick up more key spheres to get, you know, the extra attack plus 20% and defense plus 10%, and also the additional key +1, and just basically helping Gohan nuke as best as he possibly can, which, as you can see there with his orb changing, is incredibly easy for him to do so. We're about to get Dokkan attack as well next turn, which I'm going to do with Gohan because he's probably going to do insane amounts of damage. Gamma 1 with a counter though. Also, he launches an additional super attack when facing multiple enemies, which that is guaranteed, by the way. You will launch an additional super. So any minion stages in any harder content like Red Zone, Gohan's going to be popping off. In ESBR, he's going to be really good there as well, which I will take him into just to see how he does. Hopefully we can get the transformation in there though. He also has a high chance, a 50% chance for launching an additional super attack, and a 50% chance of performing a critical hit if HP is at 58% or less at the start of turn. So I built an additional and crit as long as your HP is at 58% or less, which isn't too difficult to trigger, I'm not gonna lie, just because of how hard Red Zone and harder content does hit nowadays. But he does have both of those built in even before you do consider dupes. I don't think we're gonna get to the next turn where we get to see Gohan again, but that's fine because we got to see how much damage he can truly do. He also, oh, and that's when you have a Super Saiyan Goku attacking in the same turn, which, considering you're gonna want to run him with Bird Coup and how many good Super Saiyan Goku units there are, very easy to do that. He also gets an additional attack plus 59% when performing an ultra super attack, which, considering he's getting extra key +1 per key sphere obtained. Oh yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting how many phases are actually against Cell. So we are going to get to see what he does with the Dokkan attack. Let me pop a Whis just in case for Beast. Oh, we don't have any items left. That's fine. That's fine. Gohan's about to get... Can we get more orbs? I'm going to try to get Gohan some more orbs. It does mean he won't get the Dokkan attack, but we will get him 12 orbs, so he will do a bit more damage, which I think I'd much rather prefer. But launching an ultra super attack with Gohan's easy, especially with the additional key +1 per key sphere obtained, and just naturally how easy it is to link him. And on top of that, the orb changing he has for 4 turns, and the rainbow orb changing he has anyway, permanently. So very easy to launch 18 keys to maximize his damage, which, as you can see there, over 20 million you're going to be maximizing it for. And then on top of that, to finish things off, he also then launches an additional super attack. Oh, we've been supered. Okay, that doesn't matter. And if HP is 59% or more when performing an old super attack, he also launches an additional super attack as well. 22.9 million. He is insane. 15 million without a crit. There's an additional, an 18.3 million additional. He would have greatly raised his attack and defense twice. So his defense was, what, over 500k. You're talking like just under a milli defense. And then if he got the next additional, okay, if he got the next additional from the dupe system, you're talking, as I said, very close to a milli defense, which is enough to tank the literally almost every attack in the game. Apart from like a handful of like Red Zone bosses supers and Cell Max supers from the actual Cell Max event. But with a Whis, we'll tank them for double digits. And then of course, if your HP is 59% or more when performing that ultra super attack, Gohan could potentially launch 4, I'm pretty sure. So the amount of damage Gohan can do off a singular super when in SSJ2 is generally insane, above 20 mil. Then you have an additional where he's going to do 18 million on a super. Then the potential of launching another additional super, which is close to like 19 mil, maybe 20. while raising his defense by 50% 2, potentially 3 times, which I said, depending on how long you've been stacking him for, you're talking like a near to a milli defense, which, as I said, makes him almost untouchable to every enemy in the entire game. And with a Whis active, he'll be able to tank every super in the game for double digits. Pre and post transformation, Gohan is pretty much almost untouchable, which is insane, while dealing the amount of damage he does. 20 plus million. Dokkan, you did good. You messed up with his transformation conditions back in the day. You messed up with his active skill, but you did good. This more than makes up for it. He is easily the current best EZA on global. But let me know what you think of him down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.